Alright guys, here we are for round 5 against Naholmes. We are going for that trophy. Alright, it's not starting off good. Alright, this is a pretty decent hand. We'll keep this one. We don't have any fogs for right away, so hopefully our opponent doesn't have too aggressive of a start. Rampant growth. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll keep that. It's a little annoying because we can't cast it next turn, but that's okay. Alright, blue-red deck. I'm willing to bet that this is a bad matchup, but we won't know for sure. I'm going to keep this fog on top and the Simic Growth Chamber and play the Simic Growth Chamber. This makes me regret taking the Rampant Growth a little bit, but Simic Growth Chamber is 2 lands, and I'm not just going to turn that down. Snow Covered means it's one of those control decks with Scred probably. Alright, we got a Fairy. We got our work cut out for us, guys. This matchup is not going to be good. This is the Blue-Red Fairies deck, the deck that took number 2 on the polls this week. So remember, you guys, if you want to see me play cool decks like this one, get out and vote on my straw poll. I'm going to put a link to it at the bottom of these videos, and then I'm also going to probably post it on Reddit again like I have been. So lots of places for you guys to look if you want to get in on that. So I don't know if maybe this deck doesn't play this deck plays Ninja or not. I don't think that deck normally plays Seagate Oracle. Maybe it does. All these decks are like almost exactly the same, and I get them kind of mixed up sometimes. So I'm gonna play this Radiant Fountain so I can flashback this Think Twice if I want. Also give me a nice thing to get back with Simic Growth Chamber next turn. Very Miscreant's fine. It is pretty strong though. It's like 1 mana, draw a card, deal like 4 or 5 damage. So it's like the best needle drop ever. Opponent's gonna flash in a Ninja. I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with it hitting me. If you're really lucky, they won't have an untapped land and they won't be able to play that Fairy again. Awesome. They have to discard, and even if they daze this, they still have to discard. Cool. Gonna cast this Accumulated Knowledge and pick up our Radiant Fountain. Our draws have not been very good. I guess I'm regretting putting some of those lands on top at the beginning of this game. Unfortunately, we've drawn card draw spells that drew us into exactly more lands. Which, to be fair, is pretty much all we have in this deck is a bunch of lands. I'm gonna let our opponent hit us again. As long as they're sitting on just tons and tons of cards, I'm gonna let them hit us a couple times. Just when they don't have much power on the board. We really have to save these for when they have like 6 or 7 power. Alright, they finally got their land. Another Fairy. Slight misplay there by our opponent. They probably should have drawn their card before playing their Swiftwater Cliffs, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, what are they discarding? Probably another Flame Slash. I don't know if they're playing like Screds or Electrostatic Bolts. This is another good card. What? They've been missing land drops. What is going on here? Okay, pieces of the puzzle. We're gonna have to discard here, but that's not something I care about at all. We've got tons of extra lands that we don't need. Let's run this Radiant Fountain out here. And yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to bite the bullet. Discard some of these lands. It is what it is. We've got way more lands than we need. I'm gonna discard this Growth Chamber and a Forest. Possibly I should discard this Thornwood Falls. I wasn't quite paying close enough attention to it. So opponents can hit us with a ninja here, maybe even two. They might pick up a fairy again. Nope, they didn't. So the reason this matchup is so bad is our opponent surely has at least 2 hard counters in their hand at this point for our next fog. I'd be shocked if they didn't have both a counterspell and a spell stutter sprite at this point in the game. And they're probably going to be able to hold up both of them for pretty much every turn for the rest of the game. And somehow we've only drawn 1 fog so far. We really need to draw cards like Moment's Peace against this deck. We drew another land, which is pretty unfortunate. If they try to spell stutter this, I'll probably Arcane Denial it, I guess. Or we hit just all juice. Unfortunately, we already lost our Scrounger and we have this Pulse here, but I really need some more fogs. So I'm gonna grab the fog and I think this Arcane Denial, and we're just gonna have to draw the other. One later. Luckily, Pieces of the Puzzle never puts Pulse of Murasa in the graveyard, never forces you to put it in the graveyard. So, no matter what happens, they can't actually, we can't be forced to do that. So I expect this turn to get our fogs countered, but next turn we can hopefully resolve one. Now I'm going to get rid of the Thornwood Falls. I don't want more tap lands, they're slow. Well, the Ghost of Worth really gave us, want to give us a challenge for the final round. We'll see if we can pull it off. Alright, they let that happen. A lot of times this deck will just sit back and they'll wait till I run out, which is a smart way to play it. But that can really bite them if they start to draw just like a bunch of Delvers and stuff over and over. At least this is a Stormbound, guys. Or Seagate Oracle's fine too. I don't know what they're trying to cast, but something that costs this much money, this much mana, is definitely good for me. I don't care about the Seagate Oracle at all. It's basically like a 3 mana version of Sleight of Hand. Look at the top 2, take 1 card. Okay. Kodama's Reach seems okay. I'm gonna run that out right now. We do have to be careful against this deck. We can't get too low. They do have burn spells. I'm sure they have 4 bolts in their deck. So even though we could take another hit here, we have to be a little careful about that. So that's why I'm not going to cast as Pieces of the Puzzle. I really want to make sure I resolve a fog this turn of some kind. So I'm going to flashback this one first. I'm kind of baiting them. This is like a really good turn for them to try to go for it because I'm so short on resources, and it might work for them too. So it's not really a bait, I guess, if I get got, but see what they do here. Alright, they let that happen. I don't know if this deck plays the full 4 bolts, if they're playing like 4 Flame Slash and they're playing some Screds. Maybe they're not playing Scred and it's just, you know, throw me off a little bit. At least they have the OG version of the Snow-Covered Lands. These islands are awesome with the big heads on them. Muldrifter they can have. That one I'm okay with. Very happy to see them play that, in fact. You just have to discard again. Alright. That's a great draw. Let's run it out there. So if we hit our pulse here, we have to take it. Okay, we didn't. I'm just going to take 2 fogs and play a land. Pass the turn. So Respite is definitely the one we want to get down because that'll get us out of burn range, hopefully. Also, again, like I had mentioned before, it's like Tangle. It's like 2 fogs here because these creatures all have 1 power except for 2 of them. So it basically fogs 2 of their attacks. But my guess is the respite is getting countered, which is okay. I'll Arcane Denial some Spell Stutter sprites at this point. It is a little risky to Arcane Denial Spell Stutters because I have only 1 Pulse of Murasa left and I need it to resolve, otherwise I can't possibly win. Respite, we're gonna Spell Stutter. I'm gonna try to counter the Spell Stutter. They're gonna play another Spell Stutter probably. I do want to draw the cards off the Arcane Denial, so if I get to choose which cards get or which things get countered, I'm gonna try to make it so both Arcane Denials resolve. I don't mind if our opponent draws more cards. I'm already under the assumption that they have like all 8 of the cards that matter in their deck, and the 8 cards that matter are 4 of these and 4 of these. I should actually see what the counterspell is targeting. It was targeting the Arcane Denial. Looks like our opponent agrees they don't want us to draw some cards. They have enough Faeries to counter anything in our deck. If they play 1 more Spell Stutter, they'll have 5, so they can hit the Scrounger as well. Okay. That all happens. We are ahead on time, so that's something to think about. We are 2 minutes ahead. So I'm gonna run out some more fogs here. They knew about this one too, so oh my gosh, main deck Dispel. Brutal. How about this one then? Got another main deck Dispel? Nope. So right about now our opponent actually might be regretting how they decided to run that last turn on their counter spells. They could have a lot more cards right now if they'd have just let those resolve if they just let that stuff resolve. I'm gonna run out this accumulated knowledge. It's pretty important to draw those cards. Okay. I'm gonna pass the turn. Then I'm gonna count how many lands I have in my graveyard. So I got 1 basic, 2 basics in the graveyard, 3, 4 basics in the graveyard. So it looks like I have 1 basic left in my deck that I can get with this Kodama's Reach. Mulldrifter isn't a card that matters, so I just quick let that resolve. Like I said, the only cards that matter are these counterspells. And they have more than them than I would have liked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is only 10 damage, but that puts us dead to Bolt, and that's really not acceptable. We could really get hit hard if they have that ridiculous fairy, like the Dissipate card. That would be really bad for us if they had that. Alright, I'm gonna flashback, think twice into turn. And then I'm going to cycle this Lonely Sandbar too. Alright, that was a pretty decent draw. Something to be aware of is right now we are exactly outside of the burn range of 4 bolts. That last land out of there. Play this land. So I'm going to Deep Analysis, Flashback. This is a bit too expensive this turn. I want to be able to play a Moment's Peace. Like, I want to be able to play a bunch of fogs this turn. I am dead to Quadruple Bolt, which they can't technically cast at this point. Alright, let's run the Flashback Moment's Peace first. It's the most expensive one. Okay, that just worked. I'm gonna F6, get a little more time on our opponent. They're gonna pick up that spell stutter, which really is annoying. Okay, so this is the only spell that matters left in our deck. And we have to try to bait them with I don't know, with something. Some spell that probably actually doesn't matter. We're going to try to trick them into thinking it does matter. I got a couple extra fogs in my hand at this point. It's possible I definitely messed up earlier when I took that fog over the other pulse like 8 turns ago or whatever. How many accumulated knowledges are in the graveyard? Is this going to kill us if I cast it? I got 1, 2, so we'll draw 3. So it will kill us in our upkeep if I cast that. So can't do that. So I'll just play this fog and hope he counters it or something. He shouldn't. Definitely shouldn't. But I would love it if I got a couple counters out of my opponent's hand with these fogs. The reason I'm leading with the fog is if they saw a moment's peace, they might not try to counter both halves, but just the fog, they might really feel like they need to counter that. And they don't. We've got 3 Arcane Denials. All 4 of our Arcane Denials are in the graveyard, so we do actually lose if they just hold their Spellstar Sprite for our Pulse. We can't win. So that's the position I got myself into. I don't know if I could have really played it any differently at any point, but we'll just keep going though. I'll draw all my cards. I don't know, maybe we can trick our opponent into F6ing or something. Doesn't look like they did there. There's the other one of those. Alright. Well, let's pass the turn again. I'm going to pull the same trick as before. I'm going to flash back this moment's piece so they maybe think that we don't have another one. This is our last chance to do this, so gotta quick try to sneak it in. Looks like they caught us. It didn't work. Alright, our opponent got us. I'm gonna deep analysis them just for the, you know, just to get them. Alright. You got us, opponent. A moment's peace you. Alright, we died here. Alright, so this is a terrible matchup. I mean, even if you count these ninjas, they even have more spell stutter sprites that matter, and I'm sure they're bringing in 4 pyroblasts for me too. So, the curse is not going to be a reliable way to win. And unfortunately, we don't have good counterspells for the spell stutters, and they're kind of what really matters. I don't really know how to board against this deck. We are just massive underdogs, but you know, I can't give up. I'm going for a treasure, or I'm going for a trophy here, you know? Let's update the game record, something I haven't done at all for you guys this whole time, because you know we've been really spending all of our sideboard time, so let's put a little frowny by it. That might be the first game 1 we lost. This deck is sort of like Dredge and Vintage. If you lose the first game, you're in big trouble. So I'm gonna bring in 4 Dispel. Hydroblast is great against Pyroblast, but none of their other red spells matter at all. Dispel is just as good against that. I'm gonna try the Curse plan, I think. No. I'm bringing in the curses, but I'm not taking out the whole like Scrounger plan. Bring back and the other pulse too. We don't need nearly as many fogs against this deck. They don't, like you saw there, problem wasn't that we ran out of fogs, the problem was that we ran out of cards in our deck to even play. Can't cut these Arcane Denials. I will cut the negates. They're like a bad dispel for the most part. And then for the last cut, let's cut one of these. Let's cut 3-drop. Alright, this boarding is probably terrible, but I don't know. We're gonna try it. Oh, this hand. It's all of our win conditions in it. That's pretty bad. Oh no! This hand's also very bad. I think the magic gods may be conspiring against us so that we do not get our trophy. Alright, if we draw land next turn, I'm gonna explore, otherwise I'm gonna play Rampant Growth. Put that fog to the bottom, because if we have to cast fogs early, we're gonna lose anyway, so I'm not gonna worry about doing that. Oh yeah. So this isn't terrible for us so far. If they play like Double Delver though, it'll be terrible. Then we'll be pretty much dead. Alright, let's get another island here. I don't think they would counter this. We're down to 2 cards already and they have 7, but we do have 5 lands. Anyone else always think it's kind of bogus that like Mystical Teachings can get cards with flash, but Dispel can't counter cards with flash? That's bogus, man. This card needs to be better. Spellstars always get me with this. Alright, we really needed to have like a pieces of the puzzle there, like a deep analysis. We needed to hit a card draw spell there pretty bad. Well, they've got the relic, which is why it's important to bring in the curses, but the curses still just get hit by Pyroblast, so they're not great either. Getting hit with a ninja? Nope. Alright, well, Accumulated Knowledge also pretty bad against Relic. I don't know, guys, it's not looking good. This will be our shortest video yet, though. You guys can be done watching. You'll be all disappointed. Alright, are they going to play a Muldrifter here? I'm going to play this Accumulated Knowledge now. If you're really lucky, we'll hit another one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I'm going to pop their Relic to cost me a card. The Relic is so valuable in this matchup that I'm not sure they should. And they realize they shouldn't, so. Alright, we're going to cycle this Lonely Sandbar. Alright. A great draw. Target me. Oh yeah. One of the great things about Deep Analysis and all these other flashback spells, they never have a chance to hit it. Alright, well, we're all gassed up. We actually have a chance here. I really thought we were absolutely dead. We're actually going to get to land this with some protection up. And these guys are just hitting us for a couple of turns. They're not a big deal. It's possible I should have left that land in there to have a target to pulse back. But, you know, at the end of the day, Curse is going to mill them some creatures. I can put a Muldrifter back in their hand or something. I do think if we end up winning this game in particular, we will probably win the match to timing out our opponent. Alright, let's jam that. See what they've got. I mean, they could have a counterspell with like every single card they have right here. Alright, start with a Dispel. We'll Dispel back. Spell stutter or dispel. It's pretty annoying. Arcane Denial, the spell stutter. Ugh. This is what I'm talking about. Why can't I counter that? So we can still resolve this, but looks like they countered something different. Like maybe they wanted to get the cards off the Arcane Denial. Yep. Alright. So this was a play I was talking about our opponent possibly considering one of the other rounds. I fully expect this to get pyroblasted, but we do have another one, so you know, all hope isn't lost. But our hand is pretty bad at this point. All of the cards in their deck draw another card. All their threats draw more spells, basically. So we have kind of some dead cards in our fogs, whereas they don't have to actually invest cards in threats. They have to invest mana in threats, but not cards. Alright. Well, if they don't have a Pyroblast for this now, we'll get rid of a Dispel. If they don't have a Pyroblast for it now, who's to say they have one for this one either? I don't really know if that deck runs Daze, but they're tapped really low right now, so I'm just gonna toss our Scrounger out there too. It'd be pretty annoying if we get dazed, and it's just never really gonna be on, so it can be bolted to death. But nothing we can really do about that. Alright, let's hit all the Pyroblasts. No, I want them to draw both of those things. But I guess it's nice that they got rid of this counterspell. That's another one of the cards that matters to us. So I don't think there's anything we can draw that will make us win this game. We will likely not resolve any more spells, but it's possible. They've got a bunch of creatures in their hand. Aura Flux, jeez. I'm gonna pay for it, like I don't care. You see all this mana I have? What do you think I'm using all that for? I got nothing in here. Alright. I pay. I'll pay for this one too. Alrighty. See what we get. We really need to draw accumulated knowledge, basically. Alright. That's pretty bad still. Alright, 1, 2 Pyroblast down. Okay. Okay. This is still not lethal, but I really don't want to be dead to a bolt. Okay. I'm gonna let that resolve because this actually lets us use this when they can't get it with the relic. I mean, they're gonna counter this one too, of course. And we're probably dead to a bolt here, but we're not technically dead yet. And a bolt, we're dead. So the dream died. We did not get the sweet trophy, but we got 4 treasure chests, and you know, as is tradition with all content creators, I'm gonna open those bad boys up for you guys. I'm gonna incinerate a couple tickets because, you know, who needs tickets, right? Like, why would I want to just get 10 tickets when I could just do the lottery? So I'll quick open them one at a time, see what we get. Rings of Bright Health. I actually think this might have been a little pricier. I'll have to look that up. You guys can check that out for me. Or maybe I'll look it up for you guys. Alright, Rings of Bright Hearth. While I'm doing this, I'll quick give you guys the lowdown. I'm going to put the next poll down below, so you guys can poll. You can vote for your you can vote for the deck that you want to see next time. And okay, it's 50 cents. I remember this being expensive in paper. That's what I was thinking, but it must just be an EDH thing. So we have I'm gonna have a poll down below. You guys can vote for the next week's deck, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Again, I'm always looking for critiques, criticisms, compliments, comments, all the C's, the big C's. Give me some of them. I'm brand new to YouTube. This is my second video series, so I basically made videos 2 times ever. I heard that some of the sound was a little too low on my last ones, and hopefully this one's a little better for you guys. So let's quick open up the rest of these, and then we'll be done. 10 play points. Oh yeah, and another rare. Well, I only lost $1.50 on that one, so that's pretty good. How about this one? Alright, I only lost 50 cents on this one, got 20 play points. Not bad. And finally, the last one. Animation module. Wow. I'm pretty sure I lost the full 250 on that one. So, as you guys can see, I'm pretty unlucky. These treasure chests, they're usually pretty terrible for me. But hopefully I can get something good for you guys at some point. And with that, I think that's all for me this time. So make sure you guys remember to vote, subscribe, comment, like my videos, whatever you want. Tell your friends. We can all play some Pauper together, and we can get some more content going. So you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys next week.